Now I want to compare the PSE Omen Max Pro to the PSE Xpedite. The Xpedite is new for 2018, and the Omen Max Pro has probably been out for at least 3+ years. So it's been out for a while. It might even be getting closer to 4 or 5. But my main point is I want you to take a look at these two different bows. Both are IBO'd at around 360 feet per second. The Omen Max Pro actually can go up to about 366 feet per second, while the Xpedite is around 360 feet per second. I do have the high let-off modules on the Xpedite today, so we're talking closer to 85+% on the let-off, while the Omen Max Pro we're probably talking 75%-ish let-off. The big differences in draw cycle are on the Omen Max Pro. It's a hard draw cycle, and then it goes into a hump and dump at the end, while the Xpedite on the right, the draw cycle, you do have an aggressive portion at the beginning to get that speed, but then goes into a nice long valley. Now, if I had the fast let-off modules when I've shot the bow, I've noticed I'm getting around 5 to 7, 8 feet per second faster with the fast let-off modules, or the EF modules, while the high let-off modules, again, gives you that substantially more let-off. So we're going from fast let-off around 65% to around 85 to 90% with the high let-off, and you're losing about 5 to 8 feet per second. So again, much easier to hold into with those high let-offs. Actually, I think the Omen Max Pro, though, had a decent valley, at least in comparison to the full throttle, which has an IBO of 370 feet per second. When I used to shoot the Omen Max Pro and compare it to the full throttle, I found that there was only a few feet per second difference. And that's because, again, the full throttle, even though it's an IBO of 370, there's still a range of 3 or 4 feet per second. So there was we're really talking 2 or 3 feet per second difference between the Omen Max Pro and my full throttle, my two different bows, that is. I don't have my full throttle here anymore because I turned it into a full throttle HD, which gave it 80 pounds. So I had an 80-pound full throttle, which with a much bigger valley. And loved that bow, enjoyed it a lot, but it's now happily owned by someone else. And so now I'm looking at these two PSE bows and comparing them one against the other. You can see, of course, that their brace heights are very similar to one another. They're using the new rollers for the cables on the Xpedite. We can talk about the draw cycle. I mean, that's probably the biggest difference. We can see there is nicer cutouts, perhaps, arguably, on the Xpedite. Maybe a little nicer looking camo on this one, but again, that's just personal taste. I'm glad that they didn't put as sharp of looking edges or teeth-like structures on the riser on the Xpedite as they did on the Evolve. I think the subtleness looks nice, and you can see, that, of course, that the Omen Max had kind of the same idea, but a lot more subdued. So I've kept the Omen Max around because it's just a really fast bow, but now I have the Xpedite. And so I'm going to shoot both of these through. I don't know what the long-term plans with the Omen is, but it's getting tempting when you have an Xpedite to probably let someone else own the Omen. Again, it's not going to be complete apples to apples because I don't have the fast let-off on this bow. I do own the modules, but don't feel like changing them out because I'm planning just to shoot it more often, and after a while I get tired of taking things apart and putting things back together. So the speeds between the two, when I shoot them through the chronograph, just add 5 to 8 feet per second if you want an idea of what the fast let-off does versus the high let-off. What I found was the high let-off is great, and why mess up a good thing? The fast let-off is decent too, though. Nicer value in general. So anyway, let me shoot it through the chrono and give you some general impressions. All right, so I have a 365 grain carnivore arrow over here. I have a 380 306 grain blue RZ from Carbon Express. And then from Bishop Archery, I've received a 773 grain arrow with a 20% front of center. And so I'm going to shoot all of these through the chronograph from one extreme to one that I'd actually like to hunt with to another extreme, which would be more of an African treat, I suppose. Anyway, let's go ahead and shoot the Xpedite through. Again, this is the high let off. Anything that you see on this, you're probably going to have 5 to 8 feet per second faster when you put in the FL or EF cams, the fast let off cams. And so the high let off cams, again, are going to be a lot easier to hold into, a little longer valley, so you can get a little lazier, maybe a little easier in a hunting situation. So we're talking right now, the bow set up with about a 350 IBO. With the fast let off, we're talking a 360 feet per second IBO. Pay for it up, then look at that, this huge valley, easy to do anything you want with. Super lazy. I can't do this with just any old bow. We got 321 feet per second. Now it's talking again, we were getting probably closer to 330 something. You can look at one of my old videos with that same arrow. Now let's shoot the 386 grain arrow through. Super valley, no hump. We got 311, and again we're probably getting 317 or so. The 320 with the high let off, or fast let off. Let's go ahead and shoot the 773 grain arrow through. And again, if you want to see that video, it's on the website showing you how that varies. I mean, I don't even have to really consciously think about what I'm doing on that. It's smooth. And we have 216 feet per second. Again, you could probably add 10 feet per second. And again, I think I have a video about that. So let's go ahead and shoot the Omen Max through. Oh. All right, now I have the Omen Max Pro. This is a beast of a mow, and I actually think it's one of the best speed bows still, if you're talking about getting the maximum speed, of course. This is rated at 366 feet per second. It has a valley, but you definitely have a hump to get into that valley. Like I said, some people and myself have argued that maybe we liked it a little bit better than the full throttle. Again, it depends on how, I'm just a little lazy in the back wall, so that's probably why I liked it a little better. Yep. You can actually do quite, nope, see? Big difference in valley. I thought I could goof around a little bit. So you're going to have a lot better form. Maybe that's something you could argue as a pro if you get too lazy in the back wall, some people would say. But you can see I can't play with this valley like I could with the high let off. I just proved it there. Anyway, let's go ahead and shoot the 365 grain arrow through. Definitely a hump there. We got 335. Wow. I might want to keep this in my collection. I'd have to go look at my other video. I know I got around 330 something, so that probably is about right. But that's really impressive. 335 feet per second. That might just keep me in my collection just because of that. Well, let's go ahead and shoot the 387 grain arrow through. It might be worth putting the fast let off mods on just to get a true test back and forth. But again, this being a 206 or 366 feet per second bow, it probably explains that 5 to 6 feet per second difference. if I had the high or the fast let off on. It's just that hump and dump that I short valley still. We got 323. I probably need to put a kisser on there. I'm not real happy with where my anchor point is on it. It might be feels maybe it has. It's supposed to be a 29-inch drawl length though, and they are cam specific. So that's one big plus for this Evolve cam is I can change the draw length, change the let off with just modules or just moving the module around. While this one requires substantially more effort, buying new cams and so forth. So again, really impressive speeds out of this Omen Max. I can tell you I'd probably rather hunt with the other bow, but I wouldn't put this, I surely would hunt with this as well. Alright, let's go ahead and shoot the 776 grain arrow through. So you can see that. Boom. 217 feet per second. So if I'm going to shoot this bow more, I definitely need to get a kisser on there and probably move this peep sight down. Haven't shot this bow that much in several years, and so my draw, the way I shoot my bows are a little different now. I like to bring things closer down, have better form that way. But again, I showed that high let off is really nice in the back wall. Put the fast let off on, you'll still have a decent bow out of it and get yourself another 5 to 10 feet per second. So it's interesting to see how bow technology's changed over the years. In some ways not very much, in some ways quite a bit. Anyway, thanks for watching. Alright, now I have the Omen Max at 365 grains. I just shot the PSE Xpedite at 329, so I'm expecting faster speeds, simply due to the fact that this is set up with the faster IBO right now. Just that hump that's kind of annoying. 338 feet per second. I've seen up to 340 feet per second, so that's really hauling. So it's we're getting about 10 feet per second faster with the current setup, but I believe if you had the fast modules, they'd be almost identical.